Advent is a season that begins 4 Sundays before December 25. It lasts about 4 weeks and prepares us for the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, most of us associate this time with shopping, presents, decorating Christmas trees, and holidays. There's a lot more to Advent than this. What might surprise some, including most Catholics, is that this was a season of fasting and penance. What sort of penitential practices were common during this season? And why is it important that we capture some of that spirit today? Hi, and welcome. If you're seeing me for the third time, perhaps some little angel flying up there is trying to tell you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It helps tremendously with the channel. Now, with that being said, when most people think of fasting and penance, they think of Lent. In the earliest practices of Advent, with Saint Gregory of Tours, we find an account of what the early church might have required. In his second book of the history of the Franks, he mentioned that Saint Perpetuus in 480 required fasting 3 days a week from the feast of Saint Martin of Tours, November 11, to Christmas, 43 days. In 582, the Council of Macon further solidified this, requiring fasting during the same period of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, according to the Lenten rite, a practice not only for the monks, but for all the faithful. This practice didn't last forever. By the 8th century, it began to shorten and wane. First in England, then in France, then across the whole of the West. Advent was shortened to 4 weeks and soon became relaxed. First, the fast was changed to a simple abstinence. Then, the clergy were the only ones bound to it. More recently, we see the bishops in the Western world trying to rekindle the Advent fast. As late as the 19th century, in the Baltimore Manual of Prayer, published in 1889, the Plenary Council of Baltimore required fasting every day during Lent, but also every Friday during Advent. Today, there is no law or directive in the Catechism Canon Law requiring fasting during the season of Advent or even referring to it as a penitential season. And there is no intention here of adding undue burdens which are not required by the Church. Strictly speaking, it is not a penitential season, and technically, there is no penance required. But let's ask ourselves in honesty, is the way we prepare ourselves for Christ in Christmas actually working for us as a church? Does it ready us to welcome our Savior, who should be so important to us on Christmas Day? Today, when we see how the average person approaches Advent, what we see is hardly a serious preparation. Decorations, shopping, parties, and holidays. For many, Advent is ignored altogether. While the church doesn't require any fasting and abstinence, it may be worth considering anyway. It might be worth treating Advent like a mini Lent like we used to, like those who came before us. Maybe giving alms or fast a couple of days, like those who came before us used to do. Advent may not be a period of fasting anymore, but there was a reason why it was in the first place. If you enjoy these videos and they have benefits to you, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.